Now, this was a live press conference held in South Wales. This is the NSW government. It's a democratic state located in South Wales, Australia, and it was less than a week ago. So the point is that one of the members of this government, a lady, mentioned that they will be using contact tracing and implementing it in order to combat COVID-19 in their new world order. So I will let you hear for yourselves what she stated, what she had said for herself.
Will exposure sites be put back in place, especially with reopening and people going back to pubs and stuff? Because are exposure sites still, will they be put back in place to be listed once we are reopening? Because they're not at the moment.
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order. Yes, it will be pubs and clubs and other things if we have a positive case there. Our response may be different if we know that people are fully vaccinated. So we're working through a number of those issues, but we will have to reflect and learn. This is not going to be a set and forget. The learnings we've acquired now will be.
Will exposure sites be put back in place, especially with reopening and people going back to pubs and stuff? Because are exposure sites still, will they be put back in place to be listed once we are reopening? Because they're not at the moment.
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order. Yes, it will be pubs and clubs and other things if we have a positive case there. Our response may be different if we know that people are fully vaccinated.
Now the next piece of footage that I'm going to show you right now
This
is a press conference hosted by Elon Musk himself. He was introducing to a crowd of people, to the audience, a sample product or a prototype of his invention called the Neuralink. So we'll listen to him, and based on what he's saying, you can comprehend for yourself. And this will also be implemented in this new world order initiative that the government, the United Nations, has in store for Agenda 2030. But let us listen.
So going into the Neuralink architecture, what we've done over the past year is dramatically simplify the device. So we about a year ago, we had a device which had multiple parts, including a piece that had to sort of sit behind your ear, and it was complex, and you wouldn't still look totally normal. You'd have a thing behind your ear. So we've simplified this to simply something that is about the size of a large coin, and it goes in your skull, replaces a piece of skull, and the wires then connect within a few centimeters or about an inch away from the device. And this is sort of what it looks like. So, yeah. This is our little device. That thing at the bottom is just to hold the threads in place because they're just like little fine wires. I mean, frankly, to sort of simplify this, what we're, I mean, it's more complicated than this, but it's, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
So you heard that for yourself, folks. Elon Musk is currently on his way on achieving an implantable device inside our skulls, inside of the human brain. Now, one would ask, what are the ramifications of these things, and how is this in any way connected to us Jamaicans and our people? Well, I will explain all of that at the end of this video, but I just want you guys to become more familiar and to have a sort of background knowledge about these elites and their plans, and seeing their relation with the government and their authority and influence in their policy and decisions. Let's continue listening to what Bill Gates is saying now at his annual Earth meeting back in 2020.
The dream of software goes back all the way to 1950 when Alan Turing created the idea that we should be able to match human capabilities in many ways. And AI has gone through a number of boom and bust cycles since then. You'd have to say we're in a boom cycle right now, although there's some very profound things like being able to read and understand texture and material like a human does that we actually have no idea how to solve that problem. And it's sort of the next on the agenda and very hard to predict when we'll get there. Even so, the machine learning tools that we have today are going to be applied in a broad range of domains, including modeling disease, finding drugs for disease, understanding biological systems. And so it is a very exciting time. The capacity to execute those AI models is doubling more than once a year for the work we do in malaria. Malaria, you probably know it's gone from 1 million deaths a year, mostly young children in Africa now, down to about 400,000. But it's a very difficult disease to bring down from that level. There's outside biting, there's drug resistance. It's very, very difficult. Here, the idea is instead of editing human genetics, it's to use CRISPR to create what are called gene drives. That is a gene which is inherited by all the offspring. If one of the two parents has this particular mechanism, then all of the offspring that has a parent with this, it's driven into the progeny. And so we're working on genes that either reduce mosquito populations or eliminate the Anopheles mosquitoes.
So now you're going to see a sequence of screenshots. One is from the Prime Minister urging the need for us to approach climate change together, where he's also bashing the world leaders that their efforts have been quite lackadaisical. And now you're seeing that he has some type of involvement and interest in this climate change agenda that the United Nations is pushing on the elites. This also, the screenshot that you're seeing now says that Bill Gates praises the Commonwealth collaboration with Jamaica being included in that for their efforts in climate change. So there's definitely relation there. So based on this, Bill Gates also added that the Commonwealth collaboration is ideal for the sustainable economic development that they are looking for. I'm also going to show you all an interview of the development of the next smart city that the UDC, Urban Development Corporation of Jamaica, is planning on institutionalizing in Jamaica, and it's on its way on achieving that. I'm also going to discuss the ramifications, and at the end, as I promised, I'm going to align everything back to how this is significant to Jamaica. So let's listen to the interview.
We utilize spatial data from various government agencies to best guide us in determining which location in Jamaica will be best suited for this city. Phase 1B involves looking at the global economy and to see what is the best fit for this new city and how we can seek to engage from now those businesses to be a part of the city.
Now what you're about to see is the global economy in activity in many different countries of the world. So let us see and let us listen to what the interviewers are saying on the documentaries about this financial system.
Order wonton soup and pay all within the same app. For 3 years years ago, it was not unheard of for them to bring bundles of cash to make big purchases like a house or a car. Today, the majority are going cashless.
Paying without cash is fast becoming the norm.
I pay even tiny amounts with my card.
It's just easier.
It's becoming easier and easier.
Will cash soon be a thing of the past?
When I think about it, I pay more without cash than with.
We cannot use cash money in Sweden anymore.
Around the world, financial corporations, politicians, and leading economists are working to do away with cash.
I'd see a future where you will be able to hold digital euro, digital dollars directly at the central bank.
Who stands to profit from a world without money? And who will be the losers?
Okay, so we just heard what Mr. Ronald Brown said. Remember that he said they will be observing the global economy to see how best to implement this digital financial system with businesses, right? So let's see what we decided to do, how Jamaica reacted.
Welcome back. It's time now for the business day. Come early next year, Jamaicans who prefer a cashless lifestyle will be given another option to do business with the rollout of the Bank of Jamaica's central bank digital currency, CBDC. But it's not to be confused with cryptocurrency. Andrew Laidley has the details.
Bitcoin and Ethereum are two of the most popular digital currencies worldwide. They are both privately issued and not backed by a central authority. Jamaica's central bank digital currency will be different. It will be solely issued and regulated by the Bank of Jamaica. In a statement, the BOJ said CBDC will not be a cost to consumers and will be a full complement to banknotes and coins issued by BOJ. That means both CBDC and physical notes and coins will coexist in the payment space. The central bank explained that CBDC will have the major aspects of money, with the only significant difference being that it is an alternative to cash to be used primarily for transactions. Also, it will not attract interest when stored in any account. As legal tender, CBDC can be exchanged on a one-to-one basis with physical cash, but it is only for domestic use. BOJ will issue CBDCs to all deposit-taking institutions, and these entities will distribute CBDCs to the retail market. In order to use CBDC, consumers will need to have a CBDC account, which will be different from a regular bank account with simplified Know Your Customer requirements. To carry out transactions, consumers must download and deploy a mobile wallet app on any smartphone, tablet, or similar compatible device. Customers will also be able to top up their CBDC accounts through all authorized agents or smart ABMs. To prepare for the introduction of CBDC in early 2022, a pilot CBDC solution will be tested in the Bank of Jamaica's FinTech Regulatory Sandbox between May and December this year. Andrew Laidley, TV.
So, based on the videos and the clips, little snippets and the interviews, documentaries that you've seen, the reason why I showed you all of those things was just to give you guys, the viewers, a background knowledge of certain economic and current affairs that are currently presiding in recent times and in the times now, and how that will have an effect in our near future. And there are two questions that we should really ponder upon and consider, and is the ramifications to not only our societal framework and well-being. When you look from a perspective of, okay, how will a digital cashless society impact those that were less technologically literate, as well as how this affect our spiritual and our moral standards. Because what this is really showing me now, that man will really go to the most extent in order to prove a point, in order to actually feel accomplished, and that's not a good thing. What I mean by saying that is that, for instance, Jamaica, you can see obviously that it's modeling in the way of the Antichrist system. Because Revelation, it says in Revelation 13, verses 16 to 18, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast. So, I know everyone watching this is probably not religious and probably doesn't see things from a prophetical point of view, but nonetheless, some will understand, some will not understand. But my message is to the ones that actually want to know the truth and are searching for understanding and edification in times like these, because confusion will come. So back to what I'm saying, I don't want to divert. I think that Jamaica is following the way in the Antichrist system, because our leaders, they are not founded upon the truth and the traditional principles and laws of God. And it is clearly seen by the camaraderies and the type of things that inspire our government and our people, the things that motivates us. I mean, yes, we should not be useless as a people. We should be productive and try to help one another, try to raise a standard above ourselves each day. But that doesn't mean that we should go to the point of making life harder for other persons in the process by implementing a new financial system where it's going to cripple the most that weren't prepared for it, just because you want to fit in and blend in with the elite and the powerful government entities out there. I think in a way, two things that I strongly believe: that Jamaica in a way is being forced to maintain a state. Our government is being forced to maintain a state of subservience to these elites and the United Nations, because Jamaica is a part of the small island developing nations. You understand? A part of the Commonwealth collaboration. You saw that Bill Gates was mentioning us, and we are very involved in international matters and affairs. As you can see, Ronald Brown, the director of UDC, was saying that they would have to continue observing the global economy in order to better know how to really lay the groundwork down and apply this centralized digital bank currency here. And the thing is, guys, this is satanic, because people don't understand how this will be applied and how it will be implemented. Because for one, yes, they said that you can use your phones. It will be the phones will be the main way of actually making transaction, transferring money to the receiver in order to make payments and these things. But in other parts of the world, they are using this digital financial system in a way that's more extreme, like implanting a chip inside of your skull, inside of your arm, inside of your hand. You saw Elon Musk, he was holding a kind of conference introducing his invention called Neuralink, he was thinking of placing a live, not live, but the same size of a coin, a device, a computer device inside of our skulls. And he said that this can actually monitor our heart rate, our breathing. Let me tell you something, guys. This is what it's leading to. It's leading to the mark of the beast. And they're basically saying that whoever is not a part of this cashless society, they will lose, because it's just conditioning right now. We are just being conditioned into a state of subservience. They are just trying to condition us. That's all it is. Because believe it or not, this chip, which possibly is the mark of the beast, why do you think it is so reversible to the point where God says in the book of Revelation that anyone that receives it is doomed to eternal damnation, and that worships the image of the beast? The thing is with this mark is that it will permanently destroy the soul. Certain people that you see with chips, and certain people that have volunteered to take the chip in their right hand and in their forehead in certain areas of the world where this digital financial system is more flexible and more extreme. They're just so technological. They call them technophiles. It's almost as if you can't have an actual moral, philosophical conversation with them. They're very, it's almost soulless. They don't have a consciousness. And this is the exact thing that will happen to those that take the mark. They won't have a soul for God to actually communicate to them anymore. So it's that grim. It's that grim. Yet you have some people at this point still questioning, what does this have to do with me? I'm all the way in the Caribbean. This will not affect me. No. The BOG has spent 1.5 million USD, 235 Jamaican dollars equivalent. 235 million Jamaican dollars equivalent to that. And an alternative form of cash. This isn't even replacing cash, according to the interview and to the BOG. Cash would also be optional, as well as the digital token, the record. You understand, using a form of digital currency, but it's just an alternative. Now, do you really think our country that battles with inflation to this day, that struggles with a very fragile economy, do you think that we would, first of all, where did we get that money from? Second of all, do you really think that we would sacrifice a large lump sum of money like that just to make it look pretty, that we can have a added way of spending? People, use your heads. This smart city will be the only city. It will be large still. It's going to be on a grand scale. It will be wide enough to accommodate a large enough amount of people. What I'm saying is that this smart city could be the new downtown Kingston, and everywhere else in Jamaica will become a jungle. Believe me. Because it will come a time when the government will clamp down on people and say, listen, we're getting rid of cash for good. What are the taxi drivers going to do then? What are the business people going to do then? When it's no longer convenient and an alternative. Now they're forced to bow down to this dictatorship system and government. This is what I'm saying. You guys have to see the bigger picture, man. It's so sad. There's no way our bank our fragile economy and our bank will spend that large lump sum of money just to make an alternative, just to accommodate us, our consumers, with an alternative way of spending. I mean, we already have a digital, we have payment, credit cards, debit cards. So the concept is not new, and that makes it even worse. So you guys have to see the picture. Please share this with someone that you care about, and I hope that you guys will make wise decisions. And please, to all those listening, use wisdom and discernment. God bless.